Hey guys, and welcome back. It is currently, I think it's 9:30. Anyways, today I'm going to be doing a Get Reddit with me / favorite books of the year so far and what I've got planned. Let's talk real quick, actually, because right now, I'm about to start classes and everything's about to be hectic, and I have I picked up a book yesterday, but other than that I haven't read since last week. But it's fine because I feel like we go through waves as booktubers and book readers and stuff, so it's fine that I'm in a little bit of a slump right now, but I still have read really good books thus far. So let's get into it. So first, I'm gonna go in with this Neutrogena Hydro Gel. It smells really good and it's super lightweight. It's really nice on the skin. It's like cooling, which we stand. And it doesn't leave me oily, which is always a plus because my skin, she ain't it in this Florida heat over here, okay? So the first book that I want to talk about this year that I've read, probably my favorite book of 2019 so far, and I think honestly it's going to keep that rank just because of how amazing it is. It's called In Pieces by Sally Field, and I don't know if you guys know who Sally Field is. How I know her, apparently she's like really famous, but I have never actually seen any of her stuff except for the role that she played in Mrs. Doubtfire. She was the wife. So she's 73 years old, actually. I think she's 72, maybe 73. She wrote this book last year, 2018, it came out, and she said that she was writing the book for a period of 7 years, and it's probably the best autobiography that I've ever read in my life. And this year I've read Educated by Tara Westover. I've read Becoming by Michelle Obama. I've read a couple others, which I think are going to be on the list. But this autobiography was just so raw and so vulnerable, and I think that is why I loved it so much. I feel like in her story, she was going chronologically through her life, but it was still the pieces. She was picking pieces out of her life and joining them together so that at the end, when you stepped back, and she's stepping back as well, she's trying to figure out who she is, how she got to where she is, all the things that have made her into the person that she is today and the struggles that she's been through. So she steps back and she's looking at all of the pieces that she just dug up from her entire life, and they create her, And it's just beautiful. How she does it, the writing is fantastic. And I was just blown away. I felt like I knew her. After the book, I was sobbing. And I was oh my God. I've never, almost never, have felt a pain like this, for somebody else. It was just gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Oh, so now I'm going in with the COL-LAB Wow Effect All-in-One Mascara. It's brown. I don't know if you can. Is this the brown one? Yes. Okay, I'm this is the brown one. And I just curled my lashes with a regular lash curler. And I'm just gonna go in. So loved that book. Definitely, if you are looking for something different, something moving, something that just explains what life is, the ups and the downs, for someone with she's achieved so much. She's a 3-time Emmy Award winner. She's won like 2 Golden Globes or something. She's been nominated for like countless awards. She's so successful and such a figure in like the acting world, and to see her life and how it started, but then also how like we get into these patterns because of like either how we feel about ourselves or like our self-worth or what we think we deserve. And like you could be the most seemingly confident person, but you have these patterns in your life that it was just really crazy how I could see the trauma that she experienced as a child reflected in her as an adult, because she hadn't handled it, she hadn't dealt with it, and it was just really, really powerful, just how that stuff affects you. Craziness, crazy. I loved it so much. I thought it was amazing. I read it in like a day. I thought it was great. I'm actually doing this thing, so I don't have any of the books with me because I actually got all of these books from the library, and my whole goal at the end of the year is, so on Goodreads I rated quite a few books this year 5 stars, and I'm going to be going back at the end of the year and purchasing the books that I rated 5 stars, because if I purchase all the books that I've been reading, then that makes no sense, because I rated like a couple of them like 2 stars. Like, no. You don't want to be wasting money, okay? We're not out here wasting money, y'all. Alright, so my next book is The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton. This book, y'all. This book just hit me in a way that I wasn't expecting it to. I actually saw it on the Goodreads, it's the awards for like last 2018, like best biography, best autobiography, and then they have like the people that were like the nominated books below, so even if it didn't win, like it's still there. And that's where I found this book. Going back, I actually heard about this book in pieces from Arden Rose. I think she's so funny, and I really trust her judgment when it comes to books that she thinks are amazing. And she talked about this book. I also read Steve Jobs this year. That was another one of her recommendations. I thought that was great. So yeah, definitely check her out. I'll link her down in the description. Love her so much. So Anthony Ray Hinton. So The Sun Does Shine. Basically, it's about this man who spent over half of his life on death row, and for a crime that he didn't commit. He had a strong alibi, and the police told him the day that he got arrested that the jury was going to find him guilty because he was black. And that was that. And they did. And it was a struggle for the rest of the time that he was on death row to get an appeal. There was things that the prosecutor failed to do. His own counsel failed to do on his part. There was a lot of things that went wrong during the trial, and so he was trying to get an appeal for that stuff, because he was like, I know for a fact that I did not have a fair trial at all. And it was the struggle. And it was probably the most heart-wrenching thing that I've read this year. I cried so hard. I cry a lot during books, but this book just tore me to pieces. My mom was like, "Are you okay?" I wasn't okay for a good 2 days. I watched every interview with him. I tried to understand how something like this could happen, because it just doesn't make sense to me. This stuff just doesn't make sense. And do I want to use this? No, I don't want to use this. This stuff just doesn't make sense to me, and I was just trying to figure out how this could happen. How is our justice system so broken? And honestly, like, I mean, even though this happened like a while ago, I think in the 60s, don't think that, I mean, innocent people are put away like, all the time. So it's just insane what he went through. I think what was the craziest about this book was that so it was kind of tied in with his religion and Christianity and all of this stuff, and how he stayed faithful even throughout this, but then also how he didn't stay faithful sometimes, and how that's also a reality. This is the walk that Christians go through. Like, yeah, there are great times where you're like, I love God, and then there's other times where you're like, how did God let this happen, you know? And it was just so real how he depicted that, because that's what he felt, that's what he was going through, and he was just so confused, like God, how is this happening to me? But then it was also crazy just how he affected everyone while he was there. Like, countless times where he just made friends with guards, and how they just helped him, and they all just became a family, and he started a book club on death row, like unheard of. And it was just fantastic. It was really sad. He describes the horrors of, honestly, like what happened, like the executions and stuff, how he was like 30 feet, I think, from where the executions were happening, and how while the electrical current was going through the person's body and they were dying, like the lights would flicker, and how they'd all be banging on their bars screaming, and how after, when they were dead, like it just smelled like burning flesh. And he said that like they would just all be throwing up and gagging, and just, it was just horrible. So the foundation that I'm going in with, I'm not going in all over my face, I'm only going in like my problem spots, but this is the Maybelline 24-hour foundation in 312 golden. So here we are. It was just really, really, really crazy, and it was so good. I loved it so much. I thought that book was fantastic. So if you want to read it, you definitely should. It was great. Such a great experience reading it. Like, I was sad and everything, but you know, like, it happens, unfortunately. And even though he's lost so much of his life, like, I feel like he's impacted so many people now, and I'm not saying that like it's worth it or whatever, but you know, you always have to look at like cup half full type thing. So it was just really, really, really good, really sad, but also inspiring how someone could just stay positive, stay like the light almost in such a dark place. So I love that book. The next book that I want to talk about is actually a children's book. It's really good. I thought it was really cute. You know what? I'm not sure if I gave this 5 stars on my Goodreads, but I decided to put it on here because it's unlike any children's book that I've ever read. It's called The Graveyard Book by Neil? No. Okay, here it is. The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I was right with it, Neil. That book was so good. It's about like this little boy, and he's the main character. His whole family is killed in the very beginning of the book. This man comes and just kills his entire family, and he's trying to kill the little boy, but the little boy ends up escaping. And they live next to a graveyard, and the people at the graveyard, like the ghosts, take him in and raise him. And it was just such a good book. I felt like it had just so many good themes. It was funny, it was cute. It was wild. Like, at the end, you're just like, I mean, obviously, like, it's not a spoiler because the guy obviously comes back and he has to, like, you know, defeat the demon that came to ruin his life in the beginning of the book. But it was just such a cool idea. I feel like I've never read a children's book like that before. I think I'm done with the foundation. Like, we're not trying to go crazy. The next book I read was The Humans by Matt Haig. The Humans by Matt Haig. This book is a sci-fi book, which I haven't really read many sci-fi books. I tried to read Illuminae like a while back. I'm gonna set the foundation with this Sephora palette contour. So I haven't ever read a sci-fi before. I tried to read Illuminae, didn't like it. I didn't really get far in their defense. I probably got like a few chapters in. I just like couldn't get into the format. If you guys have seen Illuminae, I don't think I have it. Yeah, I gave it away. But the format's kind of just told in like emails and recordings and stuff and text messages or something. I'm not sure. It's just like a whole bunch of different formats, and it's just distracting to me. I think it's because I'm a visual learner, so like I'm just like seeing all of this on the page, and I'm like, I don't know where to start. So that was that. I didn't really enjoy that book, but I didn't really get far either, so we're not talking about Illuminae. We're talking about The Humans by Matt Haig, and this is a sci-fi book, and it was so stinking good. Basically, there's this professor, Dr. Martin, I think his name is, and he's working on this mathematical equation, and it's gonna like change the world. And so he's working on this, and the aliens are kind of like watching, and they're like, all right, like we can't let this guy get too far, you know, because that ain't gonna work. And so when he solves it, they go down. He dies in the very first page of the book. He's dead. I think so, at least. I think he's dead, or at least in the first chapter, definitely. I'm not sure if they kill him or if he just dies of like something random. But anyways, an alien comes and takes over his body, basically, because the whole mission is to destroy everyone that knew anything about the mathematical equation. But the alien ends up like falling in love with humanity and what it means to be human. Like I feel like it's just so good. You just need to read it. It has so many cool things to think about. Like afterwards, I was just sitting there and I was like, dang. Like, so it was so good. It was so good. I loved it. If you're looking for a sci-fi book, I would definitely pick that up. It's a pretty short read, actually. I think it's only like 300 pages. Not bad. Maybe 200. I think it's 300 though, but it's really a short read. I read it in like a couple hours. Dang, I sound like I have no life. I promise that like I go out, like I do things. I have a friend. I have at least one, definitely Emily. But I did read this book in one day, and the Sally Fields one in one day, but it's fine, you know, it's fine. Like, I'm living my best life. It's summer. It's almost the end, so I'm trying to, like, get all the books. So the last book that I'm going to be talking about is 84 Charing Cross Road by Helene Hanff. Anyways, this book is super short. I have Q's Legacy, which is one of her other books. It's in my bag downstairs, but it's probably, like, well, it's definitely shorter than this. It's probably like, honestly, like half of this. Like, this is the entire book. It was so good. Basically, it's about her correspondence over the course of like a few years with this man called Frank. He was the assistant manager at a bookstore in London, and she lived in New York, and it was so cute. Everyone ends up loving her at the bookstore. His wife ends up like sending her letters because like they're always like, wow, who is this lady? Like, she sounds so cool. She's so funny. She's so real. And she loves to read. And so she's just trying to get books from that bookstore in London, but also establish like a connection because she loves London and all that stuff, and she's really afraid of traveling, and I think she has like some health issues, so she can't really go. But the next book after that is The Duchess of Bloomsbury Street, and she actually gets to go and visit, and she ends up going, and it's really sweet. But in this book, I'm pretty sure that 84 Charing Cross Road has become like a play. I think it has a TV series. It's so good. It's so good. Definitely, if you want a cute, fun little read, you'll love this book. It's funny. It's so funny. She's so cool. And I think that's it for the books that I've read this year. I obviously read a lot more. The other ones I didn't really score that well. Maybe I'll do a video like worst books of 2019 halfway through the year. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. In the next coming weeks, I'm going to be reading all the Jane Austen books. I've read Pride and Prejudice, and I've read Northanger Abbey. That's it. Those are the only 2 Jane Austen books that I've read, and that's unacceptable. So I'm excited to do that. Hope you guys will keep posted and updated, and our social media is linked down below. I hope you guys enjoy, and that's it. Thank you guys for watching.